Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about MrBeast and his Squid Game video once again. So for those of you that didn't see my video like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, basically we talked about how Twitter had reacted to the whole Squid Game video by MrBeast and how they were, not really big fans of it. There were some people complaining, saying that he could have just given that money away instead of making this video, that he was ripping off the show without realizing what the actual meaning and message behind the show was, and all these different things, and we talked about that and we went over that. But unfortunately, today we'll be addressing the mainstream media, most particularly the Guardian and Vice, which both are somewhat reputable news sources. At least the Guardian is purported to be one, and Vice used to actually be a news page. Now they just write fucking sad articles about MrBeast and how he, ripped off this show. But we're going to be taking a look at 2 articles that came out from them where, they highlight a lot of these same problems that these people on Twitter did, but they also make some bold and absurd claims that just, in all reality, that like when we look at them, it just proves that they're not even paying attention. They're just saying things. So yes, this is a 2-for-1 special today, folks. Make sure to lock in, get your fucking drink ready, get you a water, get you some popcorn or some chips or something. I don't know, man, but this one might end up being a little bit longer than usual because, we are reacting to 2 completely different pieces of content today. But these articles came out within the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted to talk about them because, well, I'm just really kind of tired of this like MrBeast slander. Like, there's so many people that are upset over this video for realistically not even that big of a reason. I mean, it's a really good video. If you've seen it, it's fucking phenomenal. Like, the sets are recreated so well. It's obvious that there's so much passion behind the video. But of course, anytime you do anything cool or good and like you have some sort of buzz around your name, people are gonna fucking find something to complain about, and well, that's what we're reacting to today. So the 456,000 Squid Game in real life video by MrBeast currently has almost 160 million views, hasn't even been out a month yet. It's got 11 million likes. I mean, these are just GOAT numbers. Like, there's not that many YouTubers who could ever put a video out like this with this big of quality and get these kinds of views and get this kind of attention around themselves. I've been saying MrBeast has to be the greatest YouTuber ever. The way that he's able to, get people to watch his videos and come away with them like enjoying something, that's phenomenal. He really does kind of appeal to everybody in their own specific ways. YouTuber MrBeast's take on the Netflix series Squid Game, where real people competed for 456,000, is a hit with viewers, racking up over 100 million views since it premiered last week. Keep in mind, this article came out, multiple weeks ago. It's a well-produced facsimile of the show, but it's also bizarre to watch MrBeast and former YouTube executives celebrate its popularity as a huge success for so-called, quote, creators. Okay, this is a very disrespectful way to kind of like, they're basically kind of just shitting on MrBeast. They're saying that he's not creating anything here because, everything in this video is inspired by Squid Game, who was created by someone else. Forget the fact that he put hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars into building this entire set, to paying this whole production crew, figuring out the YouTube algorithm to understand just how, when, which manner to upload YouTube videos, down to pretty much every last detail. Yeah, man, he just completely ripped off the show. It took no effort. He didn't create anything, He just kind of, made a parody of something. Is that a word? Parody? Like this argument that fucking people aren't quote-unquote creators, right? Because, they're parodying something is ridiculous. Would you say the same thing to the incredibly talented artists who can do things like draw fucking Spider-Man or like some sort of comic book character or movie character from hand? Are they not creators and artists and things like that because they're fucking taking inspiration from something else? Oh, wait, no, I'm pretty sure Vice wouldn't make that argument because it's fucking idiotic. Well, you know what? They might. They really might. They're basically doing it here. But my reason for thinking that this is just more intentional than anything is that these outlets like this are genuinely kind of afraid of YouTube. Because let me explain this, right? People like MrBeast are the replacement for these mainstream media outlets and these entertainment platforms. YouTubers can genuinely pull TV network numbers talking about the same things, doing the same things as all of these TV shows, and other YouTubers can just talk about it like me in their fucking office room of their house. play some video games behind it, and get the same amount of coverage shown to people than, like a Vice article can. So not only is it more engaging, more entertaining, and most of the time it's a lot less bullshit to even have to deal with, these are all reasons basically that they would be afraid because, well, YouTube videos entertain people better than traditional media. And what does that mean if people like MrBeast continually keep breaking records and getting all of this attention and bringing all of this good positive energy to the creator atmosphere on YouTube? Well, more people make YouTube content and make better YouTube content and make content that people want to watch here instead of on, Fox, CBS, CNN, any of the major TV networks, any of the entertainment outlets. And they don't want to see that happen because, well, they haven't completely monopolized this entire atmosphere here, right? You don't have to sign 700 papers to fucking get a show on YouTube. You literally just be entertaining enough and have a $30 camera and you can do it. So I know I spent a lot of time harping on that point, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone realized the slight in this article, what they're trying to do with this type of wording, with the bullshit that they say. So, as a feat of production, it's not just admirable, but enviable in how perfectly MrBeast recreated the sets of the show. As a piece of media, it's perverse. This doesn't just badly misunderstand the anti-capitalist message of Squid Game, it's a literal recreation of the villain's ultimate desire to watch desperate people compete for money purely for his amusement. In MrBeast's version of Squid Game's marble game, the YouTuber's research team even paired up best friends in an effort to emulate the tragic stakes of the original show. When the top 6 are asked what they'll do with the prize money, 2 of them said they'd give it to their families. Alright, this is a really great paragraph because it highlights just how quickly and hypocritically this Vice author will completely contradict what they say. In the first article, they have to put quotes around the word creator because, MrBeast didn't go out of his way to make something as entertaining as Squid Game, right? He just basically ripped someone's idea off. In fact, literally calling it a ripoff in the title of the article. But then in the next paragraph, right, when we're talking about how we're gonna break the show down, they essentially praise him for all the different creative directions he took to recreate the sets and the tragic stakes of the show. They're calling him a quote-unquote creator in one paragraph, but then saying he recreated the sets of this show. In fact, actually having a fucking typo in there because nobody who actually writes for these outlets understands how to write in the first place, so they go on to complain, oh, it misunderstands the capitalist message of Squid Game. It's anti-capitalist, man. How dare you ever try and make money on an anti-capitalist message? Well, because this whole point completely ignores the fact that even though the creator of Squid Game got fleeced with the Netflix deal, still got some sort of money for it, right? Still made profit. And then, of course, everyone praises Netflix for, the fact that they got Squid Game. Oh, this is one of Netflix's best shows ever. It's doing so great. They'll praise Netflix for the numbers that it generated, right? Oh, well, the show is worth, so many hundreds of millions of dollars to Netflix. Really strategic move. But yeah, there's no capitalist message there, right? It's not like Netflix profited off of an anti-capitalist message in any way, right? By a lot. Oh, but it's okay when Netflix does it, right? But, I mean, when MrBeast profits even a little bit, right, all of a sudden, he's not being a creative person. He's a ripoff and all this other shit, right? So they then even go to talk about how, oh, it even emulates the tragic stakes of the show and whatnot. Yeah, guess what? That's the fucking point. How can you recreate Squid Game without that part? I don't understand. It's like asking someone to recreate the movie Wolf of Wall Street without involving fucking greed. It's literally one of the main themes of the entire show. If you want to recreate it in any way, you have to involve it. More than just bizarre, MrBeast's Squid Game highlights a fundamental problem of YouTube. There is no shortage of people who make original art and put it online, but the internet is dominated instead by people who can take advantage of existing properties and fan bases. This is a particular problem on YouTube, where the people film themselves literally reacting to things or laughing at other people's memes and making a lot of money off of it. This video is no different from those. It owes a debt to Huang's show in every respect. Despite being original content from a popular content creator, it's nothing more than a sad retread of someone else's work. There's also an ad spot for mobile game Brawl Stars in the middle of the video, meaning that MrBeast will also profit from the fruits of Huang's creative labor. Okay, so the internet's dominated by people who can take advantage of existing properties and fan bases. Well, that's how the real world also works. You ever notice how when you go down Times Square, there's not fucking, some small indie creator's project up on the billboards? When you go there, you see Marvel, you see fucking McDonald's, you see Taco Bell, you see Drake's new album, you see whatever musicals are in town. It's literally all corporate shit. But guess what? It's their established names. They're brands that people already spend money on. They're brands that people already involve themselves with. So yeah, that's how everything works, okay? And the internet is no different. Yes, people love to fucking, once again, they love to draw Dragon Ball characters online and shit like that, sure. But to pretend as if like original content creators aren't getting their fair shot either. MrBeast literally pioneered a whole genre of content on YouTube. Philanthropic stunt videos is what they're often called. Nobody was doing that on that level until he pioneered it, until he innovated YouTube by doing that. And it's extremely ironic and hypocritical for Vice to complain about people reacting to things online or laughing at other people's memes when literally the entire fucking whole income source of Vice is literally reacting to other shit. This article is Vice reacting to MrBeast reacting to Squid Game, okay? The video you're now watching is Optimus reacting to Vice reacting to MrBeast reacting to Squid Game. Vice does not create original news stories. You know, Vice doesn't go out in the middle of nowhere, instigate some fucking event, and then report on something they created, right? No, if something happens in the fucking news or whatever, Vice reports on it. That's what Vice does. They're literally a YouTube channel, but like an old head's YouTube channel. They just tell you shit that happened to other people, and then complain that other people have the fucking gumption, the gall, to do the same thing they do in a more innovative and entertaining way. In fact, I went to Vice.com and I searched just the term Squid Game, and Vice, even though they're complaining about a YouTuber, you know, interpreting fucking Squid Game, they have 13 articles with the word Squid Game in the title. So Vice has reacted to Squid Game's popularity 13 times, but is complaining when a YouTuber recreates it once. They say they owe a debt to Huang Shou Squid Game, even though they literally thank the creators of Squid Game in the video. They literally paid homage to the entire show throughout the entire video. It apparently owes debt in every respect. Yeah, they paid that debt, so please shut the fuck up. They then completely prove that none of the video was actually watched. This is the funniest part, and I noticed this before I even started recording, but this is the bombshell that makes Vice look completely... Who wrote this? Who wrote this at Vice? Okay, so it actually makes Gita Jackson look like a complete fucking moron, so... There's also an ad spot for mobile game Brawl Stars in the middle of the video, meaning that MrBeast will profit off of the creative labor of someone else. Okay, well, here's what MrBeast actually says in the middle of the video, starting at about 14 minutes and 25 seconds.
While they're fighting for their chance in this competition, I want to tell you guys about Brawl Stars, who helped fund this video, which cost over $3.5 million.
Okay, so right there in the ad read that, you know, this writer noticed the entire time, like was able to write about, that's how noticeable it was, seemed to completely forget the context that Brawl Stars' investment in this video went to funding it. The video cost over $3.5 million to make. Keep in mind, Squid Game in its entirety, I think, cost around $21 million to make. So, just off the top of the head, it cost about 1/7 of the entire TV show to make, but that money went to funding that video, okay? So, unless they gave him $6 million for that, I don't see how MrBeast profited in any single way that it was enough to fucking matter from this ad. So, once again, can notice the ad, but can't, you know, listen to the reason that the ad's in there. That shows you the investigative journalism that Rita Jackson and Vice really pulled off with this one, man. You guys killed this article. Congratulations. You guys totally aren't a bunch of hacks. Now, let's move on to the next article from The Guardian. And the video was good, though there was absolutely no lip service paid to the fact that Squid Game was a 9-hour-long criticism of the grinding gears of capitalism, and MrBeast's videos are quite often just handing people between $1,000 and $10,000 in exchange for them humiliating themselves trying to win the car. The final game of musical chairs for a $500,000 cash prize was genuinely thrilling, but he just did Squid Game. I don't get it. Netflix did Squid Game, and then MrBeast just did Squid Game. There is no trick. Yeah, you're right, there's no trick. That's the whole point. Yeah, Netflix did Squid Game. You mean the global conglomerate that's worth tens of billions of dollars and whatnot? Yeah, they did Squid Game. Funny enough, you know, Netflix didn't really do Squid Game because the writer had the idea for like 12 years before the show even came out. Yeah, way to congratulate the artist there for creating that since you're so pro-artist and whatnot. But yeah, MrBeast is literally a guy with some crew and a YouTube channel, okay? Not close to the same thing. The fact that he was able to recreate this so well is that impressive. Once again, you do not have to address the fact that it was a criticism of capitalism to make a recreation of it, okay? That's so fucking idiotic. It's the same point that these people all have just been repeating over and over again. No genuine addressal, I guess, of the criticism against this point, just repeating it because, you know, it has some buzzwords in it. Capitalism. Because capitalism bad, right, guys? This wouldn't have been brought into sharp, once again, a fucking typo because none of these people can write, but this wouldn't have been brought into sharp focus if there wasn't a soon-deleted tweet this week from John Ushea, one of those creator and advisor into NFT guys that exist out there, praising MrBeast for so brazenly ripping the original idea off. Quote, at MrBeast, Squid Game's video, 103 million views in 4 days. It took 7 weeks to make. Netflix's Squid Game series, 11 million views in 111 million views, I'm sorry. In 30 days, it took 10 years to make. More views, less time, fewer gatekeepers. That's the promise of the creator economy. Alright, so I think it's very obvious what happens here. So it's basically popular to hate NFTs, and people who don't like, or people who like NFTs are like kind of popular to hate too, right? It's basically just like an internet dogpiling thing going on right now. There are some reasons to criticize NFTs for sure, but what this writer is doing is appealing to the mass on that one, right? Like they realize that one person said something about the show, they brought up legitimate facts, and they are very impressive facts and really show a very promising part of the creator economy, yes. But of course, instead of actually addressing those true facts and addressing the fact that they were right, they have to criticize what the person's into. See, because he's into NFTs, so he's not credible, and he's just a goofball tweeting on Twitter, so what he says doesn't matter. You should listen to me, TheGuardian.com. I know, I can't believe copying someone else's idea wholesale took less time and money than creating the original content in the first place. However, this is part of the problem. Yes, we have a new generation of internet creator-only megastars with the power and finances to make any type of content they like. But sadly, after years of just recreating videos purely to please an algorithm rather than an audience, they don't really have anything new to say. What happens when MrBeast runs out of Netflix shows to remake? How many more times can he buy someone needy a car? This week's Squid Game video was undoubtedly a huge success, but it hints at a dearth of IP a little further down the line that could change how YouTubers make videos all over again. So, it's funny that anyone writing for any of these mainstream outlets would ever fucking say anything along the lines of, it's sad that creators only write for the algorithm instead of their audience, as if literally their whole job isn't to just write on what's fucking popular so they can get as many views as possible. Once again, what these people are doing is the same thing that I do, except I do it in a more entertaining and a more listenable format, and, you know, I don't just bullshit for the sake of bullshitting. And, you know, once again, they're like the old head version of me, right? So, yeah, it's just fucking hilarious that they ever have the gumption to say that, once again. So, then they go on to make the point, well, what does he do when he runs out of topics, you know? When he doesn't have another Netflix show to recreate, what's he gonna do then? He's going to innovate YouTube like he did before when he created, once again, a whole genre of content, okay? That's what literally everybody here does. It's the same exact argument I remember people making to me, like when I first started blowing up on YouTube. Well, what happens when you run out of topics? Then what are you gonna do, Optimus? Guess what? It's been 4 fucking years and I've never had that issue one single time where I just literally had no topics for just months, if not years on end, right? There's always something to talk about. That's the beauty of the internet. There's always something to make a video about, and MrBeast will continue to do that until he decides, or whatever, that he doesn't want to do that anymore. The Guardian, like, these writers are just so fucking, like, they'd have no self-awareness, because you can literally flip this same question to them. What do you do at The Guardian when you guys run out of topics to rip off from other fucking news outlets? You know? What do you guys do when, you know, the world gets a little boring and there's nothing to talk about? I don't know, what are you guys gonna do then? The only difference is your media is dying out while the media I'm in is actually exploding in value and popularity. So, we're in 2 completely different boats asking the same question back and forth, guys. It's just funny to me that, like, you can read in these articles that these people did not give this video a fair shot. They literally just wrote these articles for the sake of criticizing. They watched this video for the sake of criticizing. What I'm venturing to guess here is their bosses came to them like, hey, what's up? Your fucking articles have been sucking recently. They're not doing well. Hey, this MrBeast guy, he's doing really well on YouTube. You want to shit on him and get an easy cash grab out for us? And for like $30,000 a year, they gotta go, sir, yes, sir. And obviously that would make me jealous too, when this guy's fucking, you know, getting a $3.5 million sponsor or whatever to cover the new recreation video he's putting out on YouTube for 160 million people to watch. I'd be pretty upset too, man. So it's just funny, man. Just seeing the stupid shit they say, and just, it's so pokeable, right? Like, you can punch this shit through like Swiss cheese just on repeat. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about MrBeast, and signing out.